way that we learned how to solve these? Graphing, good. Second way? Close, that was the third way. What? Yes, we're taking the square root. Then the third way was factoring. The fourth way that we just learned was completing the square. Okay, and now we're going to learn probably the most universal way of solving these, and it's called the quadratic formula. Okay, and if you remember, when these guys are in standard form, can anybody tell me what standard form of a quadratic is? What's the one? Good. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 is my standard form. Okay? We are on page 41. Okay? So, in this example problem, my A is what? No. My A is 1. My B is -6. My C is 4. Alright. So you can see that the formula is at the top of the page. And we're using just our stuff that goes with A, B, and C.
The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Yep, and this is going to be one of those formulas where you're going to possibly remember this the rest of your life.
The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
All right, now everyone can join in. Yep.
The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Well, we're just going to keep doing it till everybody sings it. Well, then you won't have any work time, I guess.
The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
We'll just keep going. That's fine. We're gonna get this is good. We can, like I said, you won't get work time. You'll have homework.
The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Some of you need to be a little bit better pretenders. I need to at least see some lips moving.
The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Some of you that are pretending might want to move your hands away from your mouth so that I can see that you are at least pretending.
The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Gotta at least pretend. I'm trying to, the last 4 times I've given you a way out by pretending, and some of you continue to just sit there. Yeah.
The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Okay, now I bet you might start remembering it a little bit. Good, good, good.
All right, so now we got to put that stuff into that quadratic formula. So the opposite of b is what? 6. Plus or minus. Now, we'll get to this plus or minus. And what it means is that at the end, we're going to have to add and subtract. That's how we're going to get our two answers. Okay? So plus or minus the square root, okay, of what's b squared? 36. Because b is negative 6 when we square it, right? Minus 4 times a, what's a? 1 times c. Okay? All over 2 times what's a? 1. Okay? Now, I will tell you that today is a lot of writing. Okay? Because there's about 4 or 5 different steps to this before you get it solved. Okay? So this equals 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 16, because 4 times 1 times 4 gives us 16, all divided by 2. Okay? So now I've got this guy, I'm going down here. So 6 plus or minus the square root of 20 divided by 2. Now, this is where you're going to use a calculator. If anybody can do the square root of 20 in their head, which I'm almost positive you cannot. Okay, if you don't have a calculator, turn in your phone and grab one. Relax here. If you don't have a calculator out on your desk, you need to turn in your phone and get one, or you need to get one on your desk. Get it on your desk so I know you have it. Get it on your desk so I know you have it. Put your calculator on your desk so that I know you have it. Thank you. Okay. All right, so now, when we get to this point, we need to split it into 2. Okay? Because we're going to split it into plus and into minus. So a lot of times what I do is I draw like my 2 little lines right there. Okay? So I'm going to go 6 plus, what did you get for the square root of 20? 4.47. All right, now remember we're going 2 decimal places. Some of us, we check our answers and you're like, is it okay if I did 4.5? No, it's not. Okay, 2 decimal places. So 4.47 over what? 2. And then you have to do the minus. So 6 minus 4.47 divided by 2. Okay, so on top, 6 plus 4.47, 10.47 divided by 2 gives us 5.24. On the bottom, 6 minus 4.47. 1 point what? 53 divided by 2. 0.77. So those guys are my 2 answers. Okay? So far, so good? All right, so number 1. Okay, and I think For right now, you need to write out what A is, B is, C is. So A is what? B is, C is, -2. All right. So negative B, -10, plus or minus the square root of B squared, 100, minus 4 times, what's A? Times, what's C? -2, all divided by, what's 2 times A? 2. Okay, so -10 plus or minus the square root of 100. Now here's the deal, you've got minus 4 times 1 times -2 is going to turn into a plus 8. So be careful with your signs inside there, okay? All divided by 2. Okay, so -10 plus or minus the square root of what? 108. All divided by 2. Okay, and then split it into 2. So it's at this point that you split it into 2. -10 plus 10.39. Is that what you guys got? Divided by who? 2. And then we've got -10 minus 10.39 divided by 2. Okay, so on top, -10 plus 10.39. .39 divided by 2 is what? 1/6. Okay, on the bottom, -10 minus 10.39. -20.39 divided by 2 gives me -10.16. Okay, here's the deal. You need to write down these steps. I can't do it without writing down the steps. I can guarantee that you cannot do it without writing down the steps. Yes. Because it's 10.2. All right. Good job. Way to check each other's work. Excellent. I like it when that happens. Okay. All right. So since we went into box number 2, we're going to skip number 2. Let's go to number 3. Okay. What's wrong with number 3? It's not in standard form, right? So before you can do this, it has to be in standard form. So how am I going to get this in standard form? Subtract 20. So I have x squared what? Minus 8x minus 20 equals 0. So A equals 1, B equals, and C equals -1. All right, so negative B. 8, yep, so it's actually the opposite of B. So B is -8. The opposite of B is 8. Plus or minus the square root of B squared? 64. Now, I will let you, okay, do the next step. So you could go 4 times 1 times -20, -80. So this is going to turn into a, because it's minus a -80. So it really turns into a plus. If you get a negative right here, That's going to turn into a plus. Okay? All divided by what's 2 times a? 2. That's the only step that you can skip. Okay, is to shorten this part up inside. So we've got 8 plus or minus the square root of who? 144 even? Sweet. All divided by 2. And you know why I said sweet for 144? That's because a perfect square is way easier to work with perfect squares, isn't it, than with decimals. Okay, so 8 plus 12 divided by 2 and 8 minus 12 divided by 2. So 8 plus 12? 20 divided by 2? 10? 8 minus 12? Negative 4 divided by 2? Negative 2. Who's confused? Nobody? Sheesh, we gotta get harder questions. Alright, flip your page. We gotta talk a little bit about some stuff that happens over here. Let's do 14 or yeah, we'll do 14. Alright, so 14. We gotta get it in standard form, right? Which is gonna be 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Okay? So A equals positive 4, B equals negative 12, and C equals 9. All right? So, negative B. 12 plus or minus the square root of B squared, 144, minus, now this is where you gotta go, be careful, because you were going 4 times, what's A? 4 times, what's C? 9. So 12 plus or minus square root of 144 minus what? 144? All divided by 2 times 4. 2 times 4. Okay? So 12 plus or minus the square root of 0. All divided by 8. Alright, so when we split this by into 2, I have 12 plus the square root of 0. 0 divided by 8, and 12 minus 0 divided by 8. What do you know about those two answers? They're going to be the same, so we're just getting one answer. What does that mean when I only get one answer? There's one solution, which means that the vertex is on the x-axis. Good. Okay? Portable stuff? Just a lot of work, isn't it? Okay? A lot of calculating. Maximus.
Why is it dividing by 8?
Because we have to go 2 all over 2 times A. So 2, in this case, my A was 4. Okay, so that's a really good question. Okay, so a lot of the time, you're going to be dividing by 2 because A is, when we see A, a lot of times it's 1, right? Okay, but if A isn't 1, you're going to be dividing by something other than 2. Okay, so on this one, when we did plus 80, okay, if I didn't skip that step, I would have 8 plus or minus the square root of 64 minus, right? 4 times A times, what's my C? Negative 20. So minus, and when I do this, I need a negative, right? Okay, so the minus and negative turns into a plus. Okay, over here, okay, my C was minus 4 times 4 times 9, and I got a positive 144, right? So it's just minus a positive 144. Because it's not minus a negative. It's minus a positive. So your sign, our signs never switch.